So, in today's video, everyone, I want to talk about the automotive crisis, how it is real. And when I mean how real the auto crisis is, it really is to the point where car dealerships are struggling at an all time high. On top of that, car repossessions are at an all time high as well. In fact, the average car or automobile nowadays that people have been driving for quite a bit of time is usually between 11 to 14 years old. And I can see why, due to how the average car loan, the average monthly car loan is usually around a $400 a month price range. Now, as you see, and this here, is let me rephrase that. On this here page, this is a picture of a 2024, which is a year old Nissan Armada. Now, if you pay close attention, for some of you who may have a hard time seeing the price, the actual manufacturer suggested retail price, it is $45,998 at 24,000 miles. Now, the estimated monthly payment, as you can see, after not having to pay a down payment at all, and when a fair credit score of between 580 to 669, a fair credit score on behalf of FICO for, let me pull it up again, a length of 72 months. 72 months is exactly 6 years. You have to pay it off. Now, when a person on behalf of a person with a fair credit score, this is what they would be looking at to pay monthly, which is ridiculous. Now, let me try this. Let's say, for instance, your credit happen to be poor or challenged. Anything I believe this sign right here is less than 579. If I'm saying it right, this is the exact monthly payment, the exact amount you will be looking at right within this range, 1,000 between 1,100 to $1,400. The estimated APR will be between 18.95 to 29%. Let's just say, because with the lower your credit score, for some of you may not know about this, the more higher your APR slash interest rate is usually. And the interest rate is just on behalf of how much you're paying in order to be able to be qualified to borrow, or to be qualified for whichever loan term you may happen to get. Just, or to put it another way, the annual percentage rate is basically, when it all comes down to it, how much extra you're paying in percentage just to be able to borrow a loan. To add more clarification, to make myself more clearer, if you catch my drift. So let me show you some pictures of it. That's the exterior of it. Let me show you some more pictures of it. That's the front end. It's not a bad looking vehicle by a long shot. It's expensive as hell though. And it's just like, for some of you who may know about the Infinity, that's the identical twin of this here vehicle. This is the much more, in a sense, economy based version of that same Infinity SUV, whatever it's called. And for some of you who may not have never known this, Nissan is a division of Infinity, when Infinity being a much more higher end division, higher end slash luxury division of Nissan. That's another picture of a side angle of it. This is the interior of it. Very nice interior, very nice features and amenities. Some of the most top of the line and modern features and amenities as well, including a rear view camera, aux input, Bluetooth radio, satellite radio, a rear view camera, if I didn't already say that, GPS, built-in GPS, plenty of leg and head room on top of that. So let me stop sharing this. And I also want to, for more proof of how the auto crisis is real, I'm going to show you some TikToks when people providing their perspectives on how the auto crisis is more real than ever. How the auto struggle, you could put it another way, is more real than ever. Don't believe me? Just listen to these clips.
The automotive industry is officially in recession. Purchases of cars, trucks, and electric vehicles are down and entering a deflationary spiral. Deflationary spiral is a big, scary term that may sound like bad news for the auto industry, but it's not for consumers. A deflationary spiral means that the prices of new vehicles is starting to go down. Dealerships are forced to lower prices as more and more people delay their purchases, waiting for prices to fall and interest rates to fall. The more people wait, the farther prices have to go down. Hence the name spiral. With new cars costing $50,000 on average and auto loan rates through the roof, people are delaying their purchases of new cars. In fact, the average age of passenger vehicles in the United States is 14 years old. People are holding onto their cars longer than ever. Also, many people are wary of the newest models of cars because of bugs and breakdowns due to the software and the delicate construction. Consumers have faced untold amounts of pain from prices going up. It was only inevitable until producers started facing that pain too. As always, for more interesting and informative series about tech, business, the economy, and jobs, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel here and on Instagram and YouTube. For more help with your job search or breaking into tech, email me at coach@zeropointOnecoach.com.
Now listen to these other clips that I'm about to pull up on behalf of today's video. Where are they?
The aftermath of the car market crashing. I did a video that got over 1 million views a year ago, alerting everyone to the fact that the car market is crashing for one reason. They did the same thing that mortgage lenders did in 2008, only with cars. And they put people in cars they couldn't afford, especially during COVID. They made up this story about the chip shortage. They raised prices. People were paying $10,000, $20,000 over MSRP, which is the dumbest thing you could ever do in your life, is to pay MSRP on a car. Go into any nursing home and ask anybody that knows about life, and they will tell you that if you pay full price for a car, you are a moron. And so they got everybody to do that. And they got them in on low interest rates, high price, and then 3-year leases on all this nonsense. And then the leases ended and the rates were at 7 because the interest rates had to go up to deal with the economic conditions that were going on. And now people got stuck with all these cars. They couldn't refinance them. They were paying $1,600 a month at 2 and 3%. And they went to go refinance the second balance or get into another lease. And it was $3,000 a month to finance the residual. And it was $4,000 a month to do the thing on the new one. So what did the result be? Parking lots that were full and full and full and full of cars. And the parking lots that you see in your town are only the primary parking lots. There are satellite parking lots everywhere. They have so many cars, they are terrified to let people know how many cars they have to start getting rid of it. This is how crazy these people are. they don't want to let you know that they're just barely holding on. These Chrysler dealerships are just about ready to hand their keys to Stellantis and say, you know, I got 1,000 cars that I'm paying $100 a day on my floor plan. We can't afford it anymore. We're just giving you the dealership. We're walking away. And if that happens, Stellantis is going to have to give those cars to the bank. They can't run it. They're just a corporate office, and they made this huge mess. And guess what they're doing now? 2 seconds after the tariffs were announced, they laid off 900 people. You know why? Because they want the government to come in and bail them out. They're too big to fail. Well, I don't think that's going to happen anymore because A, we can't afford it, and B, we've seen your tricks. It's like the bailout of Silver, whatever the Silver Rock Bank or whatever it was in 2008 that the Bushes owned, and they bailed them out because they were too big to fail. Well, nobody's too big to fail anymore. We don't care. And if you buy a new car because the rates go from, you know, mortgage rate of 7 to 6 right now, and the car rate goes from 12 to 9 because you have good credit, you're a moron. And if you wait until the process goes all the way through, you're going to see 50% off on these cars. There's 2022 Cadillacs sitting on lots, brand new. 2003, brand new. 2004, brand new. And now we're 3-4 months into 2005. They are going to have to release these cars. And if they don't, they're going to go out of business, and a bank is going to end up with these, and they're going to write all their profits off on the loss of the sale of these vehicles that they lost on the flooring loans. So $70,000 car, they're going to sell it for 30 because they don't care. They're going to get the 30 from you, and then the $40,000 deficit, they're going to write off against their taxes for all the loans that they made, for all their service fees and all that other stuff. And it'll be a big, big windfall for the consumer. You know, hopefully you saved up some of your money. But the good news is, and this might save the car industry, which I hate them because they're predatory. But the good news is these tariffs are crashing the economy. Yes. But there's a reason why. And I told you about this a year ago as well. And I think a month ago, I did another video saying that the mortgage interest rates within 6 months are going to start with a 3. That means 3.99 30-year fixed. Drop from 7 to 6. Well, what's going to happen is the government is going to have to adjust for this market collapse. And they're going to adjust the interest rates. But it's not for the market collapse or anything like that. If you talk to anybody that was involved in the greatest real estate crash in history, 2008, nobody got hurt on that. If you had massive leverage, you got hurt. The everyday person, they didn't move from their house. 2 years later, their house was worth the same amount as it was before. The stock market crashed and they didn't sell any of their stock. Nobody gets hurt. And so the reason that interest rates are going to drop, and I've said this before, and it's on tape. You can go back and look through TikTok and find my videos, but they are going to crash the economy. And whoever was involved in it's not just the current administration. Anybody would have had to do this because we owe $36 trillion. And in June, I think we need to reorganize 9 trillion. And instead of reorganizing that debt for 7%, they're going to lower the interest rates because of the crashing market, everything else. They're going to lower the interest rates to 2.5 or 3. And that's going to result in rates for people with good credit that you guys are going to be able to have a party. You're going to buy these cheap cars at low interest rate, and you're going to refinance your homes. You're going to be able to move. and you haven't been able to do that. You had to stay in your house because you even if you downsize because of the interest rate difference, you'd pay more than you would for your big house. But that's going to change. And there are millions and millions and millions waiting on the sidelines for the proper interest rate so they could get their place on the real estate escalator going up. And there's going to be a small gap where you're going to be able to buy the real estate at a low interest rate before everyone else does, because when everyone else does, the prices are going to go like double. You know, you're going to get a 50% increase. If you have a $100,000 house, it's going to turn into a $150,000 house. If you have a $600,000 house, it's going to turn into a $900,000 house. And the reason is there's going to be huge buying pressure because people feel like this is the last time, and they might be right. I don't know about the last time forever, but once they press their debt down with this move and they get everything reorganized at the federal level, then they're going to raise the interest rates to kill the inflation that is going to be caused by these lowering of the interest rates. And prices are going to go up and it's going to be a problem. But that's another problem that we're going to deal with, and we're going to deal with it. I mean, we've dealt with, $20 fast food bills instead of $6, and we're going to deal with $40 fast food instead of 20. And we're going to have to work on the job and the economy, and hopefully we get some American jobs and investment in America with the low interest rates. They'll build factories here. We don't have any factories. If we build some of those and support our farmers with American laborers, and the price is going to go up for them, the price is going to go up for us, but everybody's making more money. So anyways, if nobody told you today that they love you, I love you.
Now, I do agree 100% with the feedback he just provided. And on that note, there are some people who may be working jobs by the likes of a cafeteria worker at a hospital, uh, if not that, a custodian at either a hospital or a school, who are barely getting by, who may be bringing in around $2,000 a month. I would give as a hypothetical example. Yet and still may be driving an automobile due to their credit score, due to them having an A1 credit score or an excellent credit score. I believe in order to qualify for an excellent credit score, it has to be at the max of 850. But don't quote me on that. Anyways, some of you people happen to fit that description of the type of people I just described, working regular jobs, not hardly paying anything, may have your own, their own apartment, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment, and may have to pay around $900 a month. I'm trying to say for the apartment, excluding the utilities. Then may have health insurance, vision insurance, dental insurance taken out of your check throughout every pay period, especially for you people that are getting paid on a bi-weekly basis and on every other week basis instead of a weekly basis or every week basis. I'm referring to you people, the ones who, due to your high car loans and who may be paying literally the same amount a month as the Nissan Armada that I showed, due to, once again, how you were able to get approved for a vehicle of that caliber because of your high credit score. A lot of you are still barely able to get by, still barely able to buy groceries, still are barely able to afford to pay your rent, much less buy clothes for yourself or shoes for yourself. And God, don't let me get started for some of you people who may be in that same exact predicament, driving a vehicle that expensive and may have kids to take care of, whether it may be 3 kids or whether it may be just 1 kid. My point of saying this is how times are harder than they have ever been, and especially on behalf of inflation. And might as well say, we're in a recession without even much realizing we're actually in another recession, similar to the 2008 recession, when a lot of people who had homes, had mortgages at the times, had to end up foreclosing on those homes and moving in when either a friend, their folks, or another family member, due to how they could no longer afford to make the payments on their houses, on their mortgages. When that being said, let me try to look for one more clip to show on behalf of how real the automotive crisis is. Listen to this.
Car repossessions are up 23% as more people fall behind on their payments. Y'all, I'm going to tell you because I'm not paid to lie and gaslight you like politicians and news anchors. Okay, I'm an independent journalist. It is very obvious that we've been in a recession for years. That's why we're now headed into depression territory. 2025 is not looking good. Save your money, keep your bills low, pay off your debt. I'm not giving you any advice that I'm not trying to follow myself. It is harder and harder to find a job. Everybody getting laid off. And again, things have been really ugly and really up and down since COVID. Okay, some people bounce back, but a lot of people have been like on the economic roller coaster since then. Them interest rates is high on everything, cars and housing. Next year not looking good. Stay prayed up. Car repossession.
Now, when that being said, and like I always like to inform y'all, make sure you smash that like button, you share this video, you also comment on it, and last but not least, subscribe to the channel.